Hi, everybody. Well, it's December 8th. And what does December 8th mean? Well, if you're a Beatle fan, the first thing that hits you when you get up in the morning, you know December 8th is the day that we lost John Lennon. That's the first thing that you become aware of. And, you know, uh, there's always that, I don't know, sense of loss. It's been 44 years today that John was murdered. I was 18 at the time. Still remember it very clearly. I'm sure we're going to be talking about that. To tell you the truth, I would rather today was not a Sunday. I would rather that this day was not a day when I have to be here, accompanying my girlfriend to her uh, job that she sometimes does here on the side, and I'm waiting for her. My girlfriend will also be hosting some kind of show here later. I'm going to be going to that, but I'm saying I wish it wasn't December 8th on this day that I have to do this, because I don't want to really deal with it. I don't want it to be all depression and negativity, and hopefully it won't be as we keep talking. Of course, people are going to bring their memories up, and they're going to comment on December 8th. So we'll cover that. We'll cover it, because I don't believe in shunning it. A lot of people say, well, let's not acknowledge John on that day. Let's wait. Let's do it on his birthday. Even Yoko Ono said, please remember John and honor John on his birthday, not today. And I disagree with that. Okay. Because the reason I say that is because everybody has a birthday, and everybody celebrates their birthday on their birthday. We're going to remember John and celebrate John October 9th anyway, because that's his birthday, right? But I like to take December 8th and try to remember him too, in a kind of a tribute as well. Anyway, well, let's see. I can say hopefully this show doesn't all have to be about that, Yeah. Yeah, and believe me, I wish I didn't have to do it in here. I tried everything. I didn't want to get bogged down in people talking about, oh, this is a classroom and people teach here and all that. I switched the camera around. There's curtains here. I was going to have the curtains in the background, but then I was a silhouette because the sun was behind me. This isn't your traditional classroom. I mean, I don't know what to tell you. This is only one. This is a huge room. This is a huge room. But anyway, let's go. Morning, James. Mr. M, what's going on? John is missed. He sure is. Okay, inevitably, people ask you, where was I when I heard the news? It was Monday evening. It was about 10 minutes to 11, a quarter to 11, 10 minutes to 11, almost 11 o'clock at night. I had graduated from high school that summer, and I didn't go to college. I was on my first job, first full-time job. And, I was sitting on the edge of the bed in the dark, actually getting ready to go to bed for work the next day. I was taking my shoes off, getting ready. And then I got a phone call late at night from my friend Mike, who was, when you get a phone call ringing at 11 o'clock at night, it's never a good thing. And he told me, turn on the news, and I watched the whole thing unfold from there, That's how I heard the news. And it was every step of the way, because first they didn't know if it was John Lennon. He was tentatively identified as possibly being John Lennon. Then they found out it was John Lennon. He was shot, but they didn't know the extent of his injuries. We hoped it was just a flesh wound or something minor. And then we found out it was more serious. And every step of the way, I was updated. So that was my experience. Hello, Gregory. Yeah, everybody, a lot of people, not everybody, you got to watch slip ups like that. A lot of people say they found out from Howard Cosell Monday Night Football because I despise football, because I don't watch football, and I want nothing to do with football, never seen it. It's the most boring thing to me. I've tried looking at a little of it here and there. It seems dull as dishwater. But anyway, so yeah, I didn't find out. I'm glad. I wouldn't want Howard Cosell, of all people, to break the news to me. Uh, Mike Wall, Jasper, hello. Yeah, Elementary Penguin, yeah. Definitely, definitely. Matchstick Man. Let's see. Yeah, I've heard people talk about Vince Skelsa. Yeah, reporting the news. Yeah. Hello, Eric. I hope everybody can have a good day. Well, the weather is very nice here anyway. At least we got nice weather today. Hello, Robbie. Good morning. It is a nice day. Hello, Marcus. I was reminded again yesterday with a clip of how happy John was for the future. Yeah, he was pumped. He was definitely pumped up, and he was looking forward to the 80s. Yep, that's part of the real tragedy of it. James Farley heard it on WNEW as well. So here we are, 44 years after John was killed, and I was fortunate enough to become a fan when he was still around. Although when I became a hardcore John Lennon fan, at that particular time, John was retired and he wasn't making music. That was around 1977 or so that I really got into it. But was nothing I wanted more than for him to sign a record deal and make a new album. And when Double Fantasy was announced, that's what happened. And at least I had the experience of racing to the store and buying a new John Lennon album when it was brand new and hot. I had the thrill of them announcing they're going to play the new John Lennon single, Just Like Starting Over, on the radio. And I got to drive in my car and I got to pull over and just stay still and listen to it on the car radio. So great to hear his voice back again. So at least I got that experience one time anyway. That's what I look at it, as. I was at a friend's house, his door would stick so that when his mom wanted us to turn the music down, we would hear the jiggling doorknob. Turn that down. Where am I live from? Inevitably, somebody asks me this, no matter how many times I answer it. But okay, every once in a while, I have to come to this building where my girlfriend works, and they have a bunch of classrooms that are abandoned, empty, I should say, not abandoned. And I try to find one that is free. This one's free today, and this one was free. This is a good classroom to come into because the heat works really well in here. The heat is very good. Some of these classrooms don't have a lot of heat. So there you go. Hello, Alan. Thanks for saying hi. Celebrating John today by playing his music, wishing he was still here for everyone. Sure. We always speculate. Can you imagine, right? It says imagine right up here, actually. Could you imagine how many albums John might have had if he was touring? There's also a possibility that somebody's going to barge in here. This is a very popular classroom. When people are looking for a place to do meetings or just hang out, they usually come in this room in particular because the heat is so good here. So let's see if that happens. Okay, this time instead of saying turn that down, she said John Lennon's dead. It was a shock. Going back to the memory of the door sticking and mom telling you to turn the music down. This time it was a different message. Um, what I would like is a one-to-one box set, both shows, two CDs, and two CDs of rehearsal. Well, I would like a DVD or Blu-ray. I'm more interested in the actual performance show. I want to see the show. Good morning. Is Danny joining? I don't know and I don't care. And why do I say that? Because he's been playing hard to get, and it's very, very annoying. So I haven't been able to talk to him about it because he's been quiet the last 2 days. Now, that's a whole nother subject. Okay, I told Danny a few days ago I was probably going to go live Sunday. Would he want to join? And the thing is, Danny and I talk every single day. Let me say that again. Danny and I talk every single day, either through a text message or sometimes we do voice message where you leave a little voice, hey, what's up, on the microphone. We do that every single day. But the last 2 days, he decided not to get in touch at all. Okay, now you can read a lot of things into that. And number one, the first thing I read into is I hope Danny's okay. I hope there's nothing wrong with Danny. I hope he's fine. Because, I know he's got some health problems. We all have some things. But I hope Danny's okay, seriously. But it was odd. If you're talking to everybody, if you talk to somebody every single day, every day without fail, and all of a sudden 2 days you don't hear from the person, you fear the worst. So I'm like, gee, I hope everything's all right. I left him. I'm not going to chase him. I don't like chasing people. You know what I mean? I left it. The last thing I said was a couple of days ago, I left a message saying, will you be doing the show Sunday morning? You're going to be doing it. Let me know. He didn't get back to me. Now, here's the kicker. His wife, Robin, hello, Robin, if you're out there. His wife, Robin, today leaves me a message 2 hours ago. And she just simply writes, GM, which means good morning, So I cheerfully wrote back, GM, good morning to you too. No message about Danny. I assume Danny's okay. I assume that, God forbid, anything was wrong with Danny, his wife would have said something like, good morning, Joe, followed by, Danny had a problem. He didn't do well. Is he sick or something? Or maybe somebody in his family's not doing well. The thing is, I don't know what term to use, the Wizard of Oz. I can't predict and know what's going on, And I just think it's wrong, very wrong, of Danny not to get in touch with me, just out of the blue. Even a simple set. What you have to do, if you want to leave a voice message, is you go, yeah, hi, Joe, Danny, listen, I'm under the weather right now. Something's up. I'm not going to be able to get, to do a stream. You got it, pal. I understand. But you have to let me know. I'm not a mind reader. And because Mrs. Danny was on here saying good morning to me this morning, or just GM, thank you. Good morning to you too. I really think you should be able to, between the two of you, tell me what's going on. And that's all I can say. That's a lot. I said a lot. But and then let's have fun. You know what's in this bag? This is my egg sandwich. I went to the deli here. Everybody loves a little rant. I got a mini rant for you. Again, you could probably figure it out. This morning, I go to the deli, and the guy says to me, he's got an accent, he goes, breakfast? And I said, yes. I said, and he knows me every time I come here, and I get the same thing every time. I said to him, eggs, cheese, ketchup. 3 words. He says, breakfast? I said, eggs, cheese, ketchup. Do you know I get that sandwich? I get up here, come all the way up here, up the stairs, all the way down the hall. I open it up, and there's no freaking ketchup on it. Do you believe that? Again? Here's the kicker, too. Here's the kicker. He's got a big tip jar there. So I say to myself, it's Christmas time. What the hell, right? So I reach into my pocket, couple bucks. I say, here you go. Christmas time. I said to the guy, it's Christmas time, right? So I put the tip in the jar. And as soon as I put that tip in the jar, I said to myself, the sandwich is going to be wrong. What am I tipping for? For incompetence? Now, luckily, this is a very big place, this building. And there's a kitchen downstairs. So downstairs, I went into the refrigerator. Anybody could use the refrigerator, and there's ketchup in there. So I put the ketchup on. But that's not the point. The point is these guys, lately, 50% of the time, don't put the ketchup on even though I ask for it. Now, let me tell you something else, which is fun. I think it's fun. Last night, we got a couple of burgers for dinner. Okay. My girlfriend, this place puts mayonnaise on the burgers automatically. It's Wendy's. Wendy's puts mayonnaise on the burger. I like the mayonnaise. That's no problem. But, I mean, can you figure? Me, Mr. Mustard, me, Mr. Mayo. But seriously, my girlfriend doesn't like mayonnaise on her burgers. So we asked no mayo on one of them. We get it home last night. She goes to eat her burger, takes the top off. There's mayonnaise on it. Is it the end of the world? Hell no. There's a lot worse things than that to worry about. I'm not saying that's the word. But I don't, again, everything's wrong. Everything's wrong. Last night she said no mayo. They put mayo on her burger. This morning I asked for ketchup on my eggs. No ketchup. This is the world today. Now, I'm not going to say that they didn't make mistakes 40 years ago. Sure, they made mistakes 40 years ago. People have made mistakes since people have existed, but not to this degree. People are really, really like not paying attention. And I don't know if some of you people like hearing this stuff. I think it's funny. I'm kind of chuckling. You have to see the humorous side in it. It is humorous when you think about it. And some of you people might be like, wow, you're getting so upset over ketchup. It's not, it's the principle of it. The principle of the thing. The fact that you can almost set your watch by it. You know they're going to screw up. Especially when I put a tip in there, too. A tip for getting my order wrong. They'll never get a tip again. I mean, I could have. I shouldn't have left the tip in the first place because of the ratio of the mistakes they've made in the past that I've told you about. You know when they remember to put the ketchup on? When I go out of my way. Like next time when I go there, if I say next time, could you make sure there's ketchup on there? Because last time you forgot. Like I'm kind of afraid. I don't want to offend anybody. I don't want them spitting on it. I think like that, But if I bring it up to them, if I bring it to their attention and say, please make sure there's ketchup on because last time there wasn't any, thank you, then they'll do it. But that's your job. Whatever. So anyway. Back to John Lennon's death. When my friend's mom told us, it felt like a lightning bolt in my chest and stomach. My friend looked at her like it was too unreal, saying, "What?" Or Don at the radio, "What?" No, seriously, all kidding aside. Some people think that people should not put ketchup on eggs or hot dogs. I think that everyone should be able to have whatever. Oh, of course, well, what you're saying there, Eric, is nothing profound. There's no law that says you can't put, I don't think there's any laws out there so you can't put what you want. Personally, I think, look, I personally put mustard on hot dogs. I know some people put ketchup, nothing wrong. You do whatever you want. There's no rule, but it's just ridiculous. People get things wrong at least 50% of the time. I think my orders are wrong 60% of the time. My wife orders double cheeseburgers from McDonald's with extra ketchup. Sometimes they forget and she gets mad. I tell her to just get packets and put on herself, but she likes the ketchup on. Well, that's the thing. It's not up to us. We order it our way. We pay for it. Yeah, I know it's not the end of the world. And yeah, that's another thing. You like the ketchup warm, right? Yeah, whatever. See, people say that sometimes. Well, don't you have ketchup like in your refrigerator? Yeah, I do, but I want it warm. The point of the matter is you shouldn't have to take ketchup packets. It happened to me another day. I could tell you another story just a few days ago, but I went to a place. I asked for extra ketchup. I opened the thing up. There's zero ketchup on it. Not even a little bit. How do you get no ketchup out of extra ketchup? I don't get it. Language barrier? I don't know. But whatever it is, that's the story, and I'm damn tired of it. And I think a lot of people are, and getting things wrong all the time, making mistakes like that all the time, or 60% of the time. I used to say 50% of the time. It's getting more like 60. You know. And it doesn't matter. People say, well, just carry ketchup packets with you. Why should I have to sit there and play a game and squirt? They give you a little bit of ketchup, and I have to like open 7 or 8 of those things in order to get enough ketchup. I hope find this humorous, because there is humor to be found in it if you want to laugh at it. I'm just having fun here, but you never get the ketchup. The story of your life. Joe, carry your own bottle. Ain't going to happen. No way. It's a sign to give up ketchup. Oh, no way. No way. If I'm giving up, ice cream, cupcakes, cookies, soda, and all that stuff, I think a little bit of ketchup will be, deserved. Okay. Let's see. Mini rant. In restaurants, my wife and I ask for water with no ice, and they keep on insisting to putting ice in it. The principle of the things, you get what you order. Exactly. Same thing with water. I always say, my girlfriend, we both say, a glass of water, no lemon, because for some damn reason, the default is that they put lemon in your glass of water. Why people like sour water, I have no idea. Where that idea of enjoying sour tasting water came from, I don't know. But we always have to say no lemon, please. And most of the time they do it right. But there's times that thing comes over, son of a bitch, there's a lemon in it. Again, I don't begrudge people, making mistakes. People will make mistakes. Human beings are not infallible. It's natural to make mistakes. That's not what I'm bitching about. What I'm bitching about is the frequency of it, the epidemic of it, the dumbing down of people, the lack of concentration. That's getting worse than ever. The ratio of it is getting worse, and that's the truth. How do I know this? How do I know this? Because I've been around. I remember what it was like in the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even 2000s or 2010s weren't as bad as they are now in the 2020s. I don't know. I mean, I can do all that too. Yeah, I can do all that as well. I have favorites, but I gave up ketchup because it's 50% sugar. I'm aware of that. But like I said, if I'm giving up, soda, ice cream, cake, pie, cookies, I'm gonna have some sugar in my ketchup. Okay, you know what I mean? Come on. That's how I feel about it anyway. Uh, Hello, Michael. Happy Sunday to you. People would say we'd be like the Jetsons with flying cars in 2025. Looks like we're going to have to carry around live ketchup. Exactly. In the Chicago area, it's almost like the 11th commandment. Thou shalt not put ketchup on hot dogs. I don't know how that started. Ketchup or barbecue sauce is good. Right. I mean, I prefer mustard on hot dog. However, once in a blue moon, just to change things up, I put ketchup on it. No big deal. Yeah. Yes, indeed. Oscar Madison has said some interesting things. Yes, Beetle Eddie. Not only do we know what today is, unfortunately, we discussed it for, first 20 minutes or so. Yeah, I was talking about it. Mayo, ketchup, relish, onion, crowd on hot dogs the best. Mustard is okay. I can leave it though. Okay. Let's see. I woke epidemic more like play Tuesday morning, and I saw the headline on the Daily News and couldn't believe it. Yeah, the day after John's murder. Uh, Hunt's ketchup is much lower than sugar. I think it's better than Heinz. Well, it depends how fanatical you want to go. If you're to the point where, like, I know there's a person I know, a woman I know that's so into eliminating sugar that she won't even have like a cough drop. If a cough drop has any sugar, she won't even have a cough drop. So you got to see how far you're going to take it. Some people won't even use toothpaste because they said because there's sugar in it. Uh, Lila, what's up? What's your thoughts on a younger person not being able to name all the Beatles, but they have heard of them? I think I could understand that. I could understand a young person not knowing the names of all individual names of all the Beatles. That's fine. They should have heard of John Lennon. John Lennon, they should have heard of, if for no other reason, because of he's an iconic figure who was murdered. Paul McCartney, they should know because Paul's still a big star now doing it. And Ringo has a funny name, Ringo. George Harrison, I could see like that. They might not know that name, but overall, it's not a big deal. As long as they've heard of the Beatles, I guess that's yeah, that's fine. You got that right. Lack of concentration. People don't have much attention span anymore. If you speak more than one sentence, you lose them. Let me just do something here. Give me a second, folks. I'll be right with you. Talk amongst yourselves, as the saying goes. Just want to fix something here. Doo-doo-doo. All right, almost done. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Almost done. Okay. Definitely. Yes, way. Yes, way. Hear people talking. Maybe they'll come in here and try to take over the room. I bet you eat sugar and don't even know it. It's impossible to eliminate all sugar. It's in everything. But I appreciate that you do your best. There's no way I'm going to do that. I think if I did that, I'd come a long way. Um, I definitely would come a long way if I tried no zero bread, zero sugar. Don't be sad. Celebrate John's life. Well, sure. It's the same like we don't know the names of today's. Well, it's not the same, Eddie. It's not the same because the Beatles are the Beatles. you know, you know, uh, the Beatles are a phenomenon, a big freaking legend. In that regard, it's a little more needed to know who they were. Attention span was learned listening to a whole vinyl album or cassette. There was no skipping, no shuffle mode. You placed the record on a turntable and your apprenticeship began. And indeed, barricade that the door quick. End of November 2001, I turned on one of those morning network shows at 7 a.m., and they started with George's White Album photo playing While My Guitar Gently Weeps, and I knew that he was gone. Yeah, I don't remember. I always say when it comes to George, I don't know how I found out. Just something on I think on the news like you. But we knew it with George, sadly, with his cancer, we knew it was coming. Yes, I do have to stay for the Christmas show. Well, every year I like to go to the Christmas show. Right, there's a Christmas show, and right now there's the rehearsal going on. The show's being rehearsed. That's why I'm here for a couple hours, and then later on there'll be the actual show, and I'll go to the show. I was very sad for Yoko. What a horrible experience she must have gone through. Same as Jackie Kennedy, human, conscious, and in total shock. And there's an article from Sean Lennon actually recently, the last couple of days, that says Yoko never got over John. So I've always suspected that. A lot of people like to say horrible things about Yoko, and she never got over the death of John. She never remarried. And Sam Hadvertoy, we're not going to go there too much on my watch, but Sam Hadvertoy, I believe he was gay anyway, maybe a good friend of Yoko's, but I don't think there was any big romance there. That's how I feel about that. Watch the episode of The King of Queens. It's Catchup for sure, not Catsup. It's ridiculous. Where do you ever get that from? Well, we got to look at the history. I mean, if you look at it depends, because I guess you could say both, but depends how it's spelled on the bottle. If the bottle says Ketchup, it's ketchup. If it says Catsup, it's catsup. Whatever I just said. So there's a good routine on the King of Queens show. You got to see it. Look it up, King of Queens, ketchup, catsup. You'll see it. I won't ruin it for you if you haven't seen it. Lila is right. Way too many people have no concept of what an album is. It's all just individual songs with no context. Day in the life followed by Wild Honey Pie. The worst must have been for Yoko. All the cameras, all the attention, then returning back to their apartment where everything was left as it was before the incident. Yeah, I mean, come on, that's horrific. Imagine experiencing that. Terrible. What's going on, folks? What's going on? Let's be happy. Woohoo! Well, I'm happy. It's a nice day anyway. Okay. Glad that you remembered to bring your laptop today. You and me both. You and me both. The night John died, I went in my bedroom after supper, listened to music all evening in the dark. Eventually, I started hearing John on every station. Then I knew something happened with him. Sure. Did you ever play a role in a school Christmas show? Yes, I did. I played one of the three wise men. I still, it was in fourth grade, and I still remember my line. But one lousy line. It's not even a good line. Not worth even mentioning. It's the only play that I remember. I'll put this up there for you folks to read if you like. There you go. Well, they didn't get lost. They followed the star, as far as I understand it. They followed the star. Yeah, A Christmas Carol. I've seen a bunch of different versions of it. I think I like the George C. Scott version. There's a version, I think it's a TV movie version, 1984, with George C. Scott. Penny Lane, what's going on? What's the good word? I think Danny played Mr. Scrooge in the Christmas Carol. Well, I know one thing: he didn't want to part with his money. That's for sure. In the in the plays, Ebenezer Scrooge. I don't mind Christmas this year. I'm over there like doing my thing, driving around, and there's these houses that usually have a lot of decorations on them, and I'm welcoming the decorations. You know, Bring it on. The more decorations, the merrier. Merry Christmas. But come January 2nd or so, goodbye. I was 16, laying in bed, watching the WCBS News at 11. When I heard John was murdered, I turned on the radio, listened to WBAB and NEW the rest of the night in shock. Yeah, I didn't get any sleep that night, and I had to go to work the next morning. And if things had been different with my work, I would have skipped work. I would have phoned it in the next morning, not a problem. But I was at a job where I was actually on a probation, a 3-month probation, and I had to be good, so I didn't want to miss time. I always thought that Scrooge was perfectly reasonable. I think somebody's going to come in the room. If anybody comes in the room, I'll shut the camera here off and the mic and deal with them. It'll probably be more fun to deal with them if I have to right here, openly on camera, but we'll see. I was in Christmas denial for 20 years at FedEx. I don't blame you. I don't blame you. Post office, same thing. Horrible time of year. Horrible. Well, there were some advantages to it. Unfortunately, but fortunately, John's passing re-injected all the interset back into the Beatles. I think record companies secretly love an artist passing away as they release material. Staying for me at UPS, meaning the Christmas uh, aggravation. Elliot, good morning, Elliot. Grocery stores at Christmas are awful too. Take it from me, working at one for years. I believe that. Did I ever work Christmas Eve? I mean, not at night. I when I was a mailman, I used to. There were many times I delivered mail during the day, not at night, but Christmas Eve during the day, and that was the best day. Is Christmas Eve was the best day to work because that's when you got most tips. Uh, Have you ever queued outside a store for a gift or toy or record? When you say queued, what do you mean? Is that waiting? What does that mean? I've done it for a record. I don't know about a gift or toy if that's what we're talking about. Yeah, queue. Okay, that's what I figured. Yeah, I'm sorry, Jim Morrison, but your birthday's forgotten on this day now. Yeah. When there is a fad to buy the popular gift of that year and everyone wants one. I don't think I've ever done that. I know there have been a lot of those kinds of gifts, but I don't think I've ever done that. Good morning, Yorkie girl. I got to get the name right. Marianne, is it? Good morning. I worked 15 straight years at a Walmart supercenter at Christmas. Some was as management. Needless to say, I left that line of work because it became so stressful, especially during the holidays. I hear a lot of noise out there. You may hear it too. Finally, starting to enjoy Christmas music again after quitting the grocery industry. Non-stop playing of it during your shift is maddening. Yeah, I could imagine that. In the 90s, there were a lot of those fads, Beanie Babies, Furbies, etc. Even Cabbage Patch Kids, remember those? You go in the strawberry fields today. No, no, I never go to New York City on December 8th. I almost went there 2020 for the 40th, but I decided not to go because of COVID then, I guess. Um, I mean, I know I've been there. I was there at least once that I could remember. At least one time I was there on December 8th, I think. At least once. Oh yes, definitely dislike delivering Christmas catalogs, any kinds of catalogs, heavy catalogs. Hello, Kenny. Good morning. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. All best wishes. IRS tax booklets. There's a lot of things that came, and I hated delivering political mail too. Like when when election time came around, all those like flyers that people don't care about, people don't read anyway. That was a pain in the ass to deliver all those. Well, first of all, this is the thing that gets me. Elliot, I'm talking to you, mister. I addressed this earlier. We're not celebrating the death of John Lennon by remembering him. You know, a lot of people, Yoko included, say we should only celebrate John on his birthday. Well, that's bull because on his birthday, everybody celebrates people's birthday. Even if John was still alive, we'd celebrate his birthday. You know, but it's not that we celebrate the death. That really is. I don't appreciate that, my friend. Nobody's celebrating his death and clapping about it. They're just paying tribute and homage to the man and turning a negative thing into a day of memory, trying to get a little positive out of it. How careful generally when you were delivering people's packages, if you don't mind me asking? Very, very careful. That's just who I am. Some people maybe not don't give as much of a crap as I do, but I would always be careful. Not only would I be careful with the packages I was delivering, but sometimes I would walk up to a door, and I would see that I put my package down carefully, safely, and I would see that maybe someone from FedEx or UPS had been there ahead of me, and they didn't care. They just left their package like where somebody could trip over it, or they left it like out where it could rain, or maybe in the rain instead of putting it under the awning. And I gently with my foot, like kick it over to the side safely. And that wasn't even my package. That was UPS or somebody else. That's how I am. But not everybody is, you know. Here's a mini rant. After buying the new Beatles releases on pre-order from Universal, only 2 weeks after the official release, all the titles, including the box, were on sale for 30% off. So annoying. I could appreciate that. The textbooks had pre-printed name and address labels. Well, that was annoying delivering those. Yes, that's the Dakota building that on the Watching the Wheels cover when they're walking out of the alleyway, the archway, doorway. I used to be a printer. I printed a lot of political garbage. Oh, I was a printer too. When John Lennon, remember I spoke earlier. Some people heard about my first real full-time job um, when John was murdered. December 8th, 1980. That was a printing job. I was a printer, an apprentice printer. I read that the amount of mail has gone down 80%, yet 190,000 new people hired by the Postal Service. The mail never goes down, it just changes, you know. The always good now we have packages. The packages and parcels have gone up. So if you're talking about the amount of mail in the terms of actual like letters and bills, that got went down, I think. Here's somebody coming up the stairs. No, we don't celebrate death, but on certain days, like September 11th, or the day that a loved one died, we remember and think about that sad time. Spotify does a rap feature at the end of the year. It adds up all the things you have listened to all year into a top list. And at the end of it is a thank you from McCartney if he's in your list. What a guy. Yeah, I think they mean letters. Yeah, exactly. Packages have definitely multiplied. Yeah, there's no two ways about that. John, what's up? That night, I was home watching football when Howard Cosell made an announcement. I went to sleep crying, went to college the next day, and then went over to Dakota. I had to wait. I had to wait a whole week. The story with me was, John obviously died on a Monday night, and I was at a brand new job, and I was on probation. I had to be good for 3 months. I had like a 90-day probation, so I couldn't take time off, and I wouldn't. So I wanted to go to the Dakota and join people, but I couldn't go to the Dakota until Friday. So I had to work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And then I went to the Dakota Friday night into New York City and met some friends. And I was thinking that by that time, maybe there wouldn't be anybody left at the Dakota because, in 5 days, it still was mobbed. There's still a lot of people paying tribute, hanging out there, remembering. So, yeah, what I always found amazing about it and tragic about it was John's death and going to the Dakota to pay tribute, and then going to the vigil on the 14th. They had a vigil there at Central Park. It was John's death itself that made me become accustomed to taking the train into the city and learning how to do it. Isn't that terrible? It's like I didn't think to do that when he was alive, and I learned how to do it because of his death. I don't know. I don't know the whole story about it. He was cremated, but I don't know about the whole Liverpool situation. You know. Oh, you're telling me? Tell me. I used to be so pissed about that. We used to deliver the heaviest Amazon packages. We would deliver the Amazon packages, the heaviest ones, the biggest ones. And then a little Amazon truck would pull up and they would take like a little thing in a little envelope. You'd have a little envelope, little cushy, soft package. And that's how it was when I was there. I mean, I've been out of there 2.5 years. Oh, I've heard a lot of different things. The wounds were from he was shot in the back. I mean, he was shot in the back, for God's sake. Probably, the wounds were from the front, but I mean, it went through, Getting to these kind of sordid details, I'm sure a lot of people don't want to hear every little, you know. Okay, Joey Molland, a bad finger, is in intensive care right now. He's very sick. Everyone, please pray for Joey Molland. I won't get into that unless it comes up big, because it's a whole other thing. Here it is. Somebody's always got to say it. Somebody's always got to say it. Paul was in shock when he said it's a drag. Sometimes you can't say much of anything in times like that. We've been through this a million times, Eric, and I really wish I didn't have to go through it again. I say no excuses. No excuses, because, again, Paul, we go through this every time. Paul McCartney had all day to prepare a statement. Yes, he's in shock, no doubt about it. Paul said he heard about John being in England. He found out about John being killed in the morning. All day he suffered with it, I'm sure. Then at night he decided he wanted to go to all day. He went to the recording studio with George Martin, and they cried and they worked and they tried to come to terms with it. And I understand Paul was in shock, but he had to know that if he goes out, a reporter is going to stick a mic in his face. And he had to think to himself, he could have said anything. He could have said, not right now, please. It's too shocking right now. Not now. No comment right now. Later. Anything. Instead, he goes, yeah, drag, isn't it? I really think that was really stupid. And he knew it was stupid. And he knew it was stupid so much so that when George Harrison died, watch what happened when George died. Okay, guys, let's talk. He gets out of his car. He says, okay, I don't know if it was at his home in his driveway or something. Okay, let's talk about it. All right, so blah. He gives him a whole speech, a whole thing. George was my baby brother. He was my little brother. I loved him. Blah blah blah. This whole speech because he realized he screwed up when John was. So I'm not, and everybody's got something to say about this, and this is why I didn't want to go into it. But Joe, he didn't want to feed the reporters what they wanted. Is it feeding the reporters to say no comment right now? Is that feeding the reporters? Saying, oh, I'm too upset right now, guys. Not right now, please. Or just say, I'm in shock right now, later. Is that feeding the reporters what they want? Yeah, I'm in here. You tell me it's an empty room all day, and then I come in here, but it's not an empty room. No, no excuse. All right, let's go. I'm going to say it again. Paul had all day. It's not like it just happened 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago. It happened hours ago. It happened, he found out the news like 12 hours earlier. I'm not saying you don't get over a tragedy like that in 12 hours. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just saying be a little smarter. You know what I mean? A little classier than that. Well, whatever it was, he probably was angry. He was fed up. He didn't want to cave into the reporter. But every time we go through this, people just won't accept what I'm telling them. The fact that he's not stupid, Paul. He'd been in the public spotlight for many, many years at this time, for like 20 years in 1980 or something like that. He knows how the press is, and he had to have known that somebody's going to get to him. So to sit there and act like he was ambushed and he had no idea I'm ambushed. I'm surprised. Oh, what do I do now? That's baloney. Okay. I hope you're not serious. Get off Paul's back. Mm. Anyway. As Ringo once said, we all have to answer for everyone's actions. The other three, yeah, that's just the way it is. But like I said, the most I'll say to Paul's credit is that uh, Paul was like pissed off at the reporter, but he still should have. He didn't think. The most I could say about him is that he made a mistake. We all make mistakes. Not you, the detractors who jump on him for saying it's a drag. I jump on him for saying it's a drag. So you do mean me. I think it's a stupid thing for him to say. And I think that even though he was in shock, as I just described, he could have been more smart about it. That was a stupid thing to say. Shock or no shock. If Paul wasn't a workaholic and selling criticism, he wouldn't have been out to be badgered by. That's funny. Yeah, that's another thing. These people that deal with everything with work, go to work. That's the best way to deal with things. Go to work. Yeah, that's how he deals with things. Pretend it doesn't exist. Go out and work and try to hide. Yeah, it's reality, man. This happened. Well, the Beatles have often talked about what it was like, the eye of the hurricane and all that kind of stuff, but I certainly wouldn't mind being in their shoes a bit. Yeah, it did. It looked very exhausting, Beatlemania. But you know what's even more exhausting? Delivering mail for 10 hours in a in like 90-degree heat. Yeah, your messages are going through today. If I decide to delete one or not, we not talk about one, that's the way it's going to be. Okay, Richard. I mean, first of all, I already quoted one of your things. I love people like you, Richard. I quoted this one here, not this one. Fuck, the wrong one. I quoted you here, and I responded to it. So if I don't quote if you give me 7 comments and I only quote 1 or 2 of them, that means your comments aren't going through. I think other people should try doing this once in a while. You know what I mean? Try doing this, see what it's like. You know, there is a saying here: he lives on cloud nine. But do you think these stars do eventually become dislocated with everything around them? Some do, some don't. Today is your birthday. Happy birthday. Today's my mother's birthday too. I didn't want to mention it, but happy birthday to you, and happy birthday to my mother, who's 84. And after I get done with this live stream, I'm going to call her. It's always been bittersweet because of that. Yeah. Yeah, it was a rude awakening. Well, a lot of people, in America too, who were asleep, woke up and found out the next morning. Not everybody was awake when it happened, but it happened just before 11 p.m., so a lot of people were awake in America. America. Yep, yep, yep. Thank you very much, Kenny. Yeah, it's a rough day. December 8th, and the usual comments about John and Paul, what he said, and well, I do love that song. Listen, the snow is falling. Thank you, thank you. Sure, absolutely. Oh, I leave that up to a lot of you out there. They always say if there's a rock and roll heaven, right? It must be a hell of a band. If there's a rock and roll heaven. Thank you, James. Thank you, James Gracia. Yes, indeed. He also played a rare Badfinger Christmas record, exactly like the Beatles' Christmas message: comedy, music, and just joking around. Is that a Hudson Brothers song? I know the song, but I don't know I don't know who it's from. What staple event in the year would you not mind if it was stopped? I'd have to think about that. I can't think of anything. No objections. I'm sure there's got to be something, but you come up with good questions, different questions, though. I got to say, Lally? You sure you don't have a book of questions, daylight savings, the Righteous Brothers? Thank you. I could hear the voices now. Yes, I could hear the voices now. Sure. Do, 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 do. Hello, Scott. Good morning to you. Ba, 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 ba. Although the Hudson Brothers records are also very good, very Beatlesque. That's why Mark Hudson helped Ringo's career out for a while with Beatley sounds. Almost was able to whistle that. Almost. Imagine that. Well, I did get to, Elvis is still alive. He came in my record store once and shopped in my record store. I have a video. I captured him on video. And he also gave me a scarf at the end. The real Elvis. Check out my video. Elvis is alive, and what is it called? Elvis is alive and shopping at the record store. True, true, true. Yeah. The thing about that tour in '81, a lot of people make it sound like it was a definite thing. I don't think it was really that official. He was talking about it, maybe doing it, but there's some sources that say it was farther along than you think. So I don't know which one I believe. I see, said the blind man. You mean for John Lennon? Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. They did do that. Somebody did. I think so. I think so. Yes. Joe. I think Beatles' first U.S. visit is much, much better than Beatles 64. I think that's a consensus out there. I think most people think that. That's true. Both John and Paul both validated that they were together at the Dakota when that offer was made on Saturday Night Live. I thought about it for a moment. Okay, folks, there you go. True that. Oh, okay. Yes, I'm glad you helped me out with that. Yeah, thank you. It must have been one of the little rascals from the silent era, I'm guessing. I've certainly never said this. It depends on the song. Some songs I like in mono, some songs I prefer in stereo. And I prefer Sergeant Pepper, the whole album in stereo, and I prefer the whole White Album in stereo. Yeah, that definitely. George was well. In his defense, I'll say because George had a different belief. He believed that death was like getting out of one car and into another, or taking your suit off. He believed you still live, and you just take your shell out off. So in his mind, death wasn't really that bad a thing. But you know, I'm gonna guess, not guess, but I'm almost. I can't say positive. Let's say something with the anthology. There's going to be another anthology reboot or something. The anthology will be revisited, and I'm guessing we're going to get Rubber Soul, and I'm guessing we're going to get John Lennon the one-to-one concert, the Willowbrook, live in New York City. Those are some things I'm pretty sure of. Well, I basically believe the same thing. I like to believe the same thing. I believe that there's a paradise, there's a heaven. It's a wonderful place, and I believe that when you die, your spirit goes there and you live again in heaven. That's what I believe, and I think even if there turns out to be no such truth, it makes life and death easier that way. So it's a win-win. Oh, I forgot about Bangladesh. That shows you how little I care about it. Yeah, I'm kind of done with Bangladesh. But yeah, that's coming too. Yeah, we got this news already, Alan. Thank you. Let's hope everything goes good. There's always something these days. I mean, It's life. No, there's not much you can do to top it. I just think they're gonna. I think the anthology is gonna be revisited. Maybe remastered, maybe new footage. I don't know what they're gonna do with it, but I think they're gonna do something for the 30th anniversary of that. I think. Yeah, that's about it for me too. Really, not that thrilled with it. Leon, I have no need for Leon Russell in there. I'm sorry, folks. I love Bob Dylan in Bangladesh. I think Bob Dylan is the highlight of Bangladesh. And I like Billy Preston, and I like George and Ringo, Badfinger. I don't really need Leon Russell. That's just my opinion. Well, that's a possibility too. I don't think there's any benefit in not believing. Honestly, that's just me. I mean, that's not just me, but it's my nice way of putting it. Hmm. So much rehashed material over the years, it's really getting tired. We're in our 60s for crying out loud. Well, there's a lot of people that are not 60. There's a lot of people that are young fans that are enjoying living in the material world, for example, you know, or or Beatles stuff. There's, we got Generation Z fans out there. So I see nothing wrong with it, honestly. Yes, indeed. Yeah, that's true. Maybe Paul will do something with Wings Over America for the 50th anniversary. Well, they got that big archives box set already came out for Wings Over America. That's pretty huge. Oh yes, I tend to agree with that. Yep. I think there were a good amount of songs, but not all of them. Day in the Life was one of them. Baby You're a Rich Man was another one. I think I've Got a Feeling is another one. We Can Work It Out. There are a bunch of them. Without all the releases all these years, younger generations would have never gotten to know them. They would just have been their parents' past memories. This way they can experience the joy. Yeah, I have no problem with that. Yeah, personally. Second worst day in music history when they all gathered to record We Are the World. Well, yeah, Ralph, some people look at it that way, some don't. Yeah. Yeah. All right, folks. I think that kicks it in the head for this edition of Catch Up with Mayo. Thank you all for joining me. And, not the best of days. December 8th is not a good day in Beatle history, but I'm glad we were able to get here together. And it is a sunny day here anyway. And thank you all. I'm going to call my mom because it's her birthday. So then after that, I'll see what we can see. All right, everybody. So thank you. Have a good day. And I'll talk to you next time.